What if I told you that in just 7 days, your body could start changing in ways you didn't think were possible, without spending hours in the gym, starving yourself, or chasing the latest fitness gimmick? Sounds unbelievable, right? But stay with me, because what you're about to discover isn't some overnight miracle. It's a science-backed shift that's transforming lives across the country. Every single day, people are unknowingly sabotaging their health with habits they think are normal. You might be doing them too, right now, without realizing how much damage it's causing. But there's a powerful method gaining traction on YouTube and TikTok that's flipping the script completely. It's simple, it's practical, and if you commit to it for just 1 week, you're going to feel the difference, not just see it. We're talking about real changes. Better sleep, boosted energy, reduced bloating, clearer skin, a sharper mind, and yes, noticeable fat loss without the overwhelm. Now, if you clicked on this video, it's probably because you're tired of feeling stuck, tired of the misinformation, and you're finally ready to take back control. That means you're not just scrolling to be entertained. You're here for answers, and I respect that. That's why I made this video for you. I'm not going to waste your time with fluff or recycled advice. I'm going to break it down step by step, showing you exactly what to do and why it works, so you not only follow along but actually stick with it. And I want you to hear this. If you give me your focus for the next few minutes, I promise by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do next, and why it could change everything. We're diving into a daily routine that's already going viral under searches like 7-Day Transformation, Flat Belly Challenge, Morning Reset, and Metabolism Reboot. But this isn't just about dropping a few pounds. This is about waking up in a body that feels good again. You're going to meet real people who made one small shift and saw huge results. Not in months, but in days. There's a reason this challenge is exploding right now. And you're about to find out what's really behind it. The trick. It starts with something almost everyone overlooks. Yet it has the power to flip your entire system back into balance. But here's the twist. Not everything is as it seems. And by day 4, something unexpected happens that most people aren't prepared for. By day 1, something shifts. Not outside but inside. It's not the kind of transformation that shouts from the mirror, but the kind that whispers in your head when you least expect it. There's this sudden clarity in your thoughts, almost like a fog you didn't even know was there has started to lift. You wake up and, for the first time in what feels like months, you're not reaching for coffee just to feel human. There's this subtle sense of momentum building, even though nothing big has happened yet. But that's the thing. Change doesn't scream. It murmurs at first. It's in the tiny choices, like what you do in the first 30 minutes after waking up, the way you move your body before checking your phone, the way you breathe deeper without thinking. That's what the 7-Day Challenge unlocks. It makes you notice what you've been missing. This all started with a simple message. Short clip. Just under 60 seconds. You were scrolling through the 7-day reset trend, probably expecting another batch of overpromised, underdelivered routines. But this one felt different. It wasn't a celebrity trainer or a lifestyle influencer in yoga pants. It was someone real, sitting in a quiet room with no filters, no background music, just truth. They talked about how a low-information diet, hydration timing, and morning light exposure reprogrammed their sleep and shrunk their waist without changing a single thing about their workout. The comments were filled with day 3 and already feeling it. And didn't believe it until I tried it. That's what pulled you in. That's why you're here. Now day 2 hits harder than expected. Not physically but emotionally. You're suddenly hyper-aware of how often your brain looks for shortcuts. Dopamine hits from sugar, mindless scrolling, quick comfort foods. And that's when you realize. This isn't just about your body. It's about retraining the instincts that have been quietly hijacked by stress, technology, and a culture of burnout. One of the most powerful things about this journey is how fast it reflects your inner state. The bloating isn't just from food. The fatigue isn't just poor sleep. Your body's been screaming for alignment, and now, for the first time in a while, you're finally listening. That's where the story really begins to unfold. Not just for you, but for others stepping into this challenge at the same time. Across the country, in places like Austin, Seattle, Chicago, and a small suburb outside Phoenix, people with completely different lives are waking up to the same small truth. Something they're doing is working. There's a former EMT who hasn't felt rested in 10 years. A single mom juggling remote work and school drop-offs. A college athlete recovering from burnout. All of them stumbled into this process through one thing: curiosity. And now they're connected, whether they know it or not, by a shared rhythm. Hydrate, move, breathe, reset. But something starts to shift around day 4. The momentum builds so fast it catches people off guard. The clarity sharpens, but with it comes the pressure of facing what's really been slowing them down all this time. That's the twist no one sees coming. When the body starts healing, the mind stops being able to hide. One person in particular starts documenting it in real time on their channel, a quiet digital diary that goes viral almost overnight. They speak openly about how old traumas began surfacing as their nervous system regulated. They talk about vivid dreams, random waves of emotion, and this feeling of shedding layers that didn't belong anymore. And suddenly, people aren't just sharing before and after photos. They're sharing breakthroughs. The keyword emotional detox begins trending on YouTube, alongside nervous system reset and gut-brain connection. What began as a physical experiment is now unlocking a psychological release. You can see it in their eyes. The ones who stick with it aren't chasing a number on a scale anymore. They're chasing peace. And yet, not everyone can handle what rises to the surface. Around day 5, drop-off rates spike in certain groups. Not because it stops working, but because it starts working too well. The tension that was once buried under caffeine, sugar, and distraction now demands attention. And for some, that's overwhelming. Meanwhile, deeper layers of this story unfold in the shadows. A small wellness startup in California that originally pioneered the protocol begins noticing something strange. People are reporting eerily similar experiences, right down to the timing of their emotional spikes, digestive resets, and even sleep patterns. The founder, who once worked in neurobiology, starts mapping the data. There's a pattern forming, a cycle that seems almost too precise. She contacts a few of the early adopters directly, asking pointed questions about their routines, dreams, and even memories. Some of the answers don't make sense, until she finds one thread that ties them together. The connection isn't physical, it's environmental. They all unknowingly made the same shift at the start of the challenge. Unplugging from digital noise, even for just the first hour of the day. No screens, no social media, no notifications. And somehow, that single action seems to ripple through their biology in ways no study had ever documented. What starts as a habit becomes a catalyst. The theory. The nervous system isn't just reacting to chemicals and sleep cycles. It's responding to attention, where it goes, how it's used, and most importantly, where it's been hijacked. That's the real source of imbalance, and the real key to resetting everything. But she's not the only one noticing. A media group that monitors viral trends for predictive modeling begins tracking the challenge under tags like 7-day life reset, flat belly without workout, dopamine detox, and silent morning ritual. They don't just see it as a wellness fad, they see it as a movement. And they start reaching out to creators, offering sponsorships, brand deals, even reality-style video series. Some say yes, some go dark. A few start noticing weird glitches, shadow bans, content removals, sudden algorithm shifts. It's not clear why. But what is clear is that this isn't just a health story anymore. It's becoming something else. And you are in the middle of it. You felt the changes. You've questioned what's coming up. And maybe, just maybe, you've seen something in the mirror that didn't just look thinner or tighter, but more awake. More you. That's why you're still here. That's why you haven't clicked away. Because deep down you know there's more to this. Something bigger is building, and whether you know it yet or not, the next 2 days of this challenge won't just test your discipline. They'll test your trust. In yourself. In your body. And in the story that's still unfolding. And just when you think you've figured out the pattern, something unexpected happens on the morning of day 6. Day 6 doesn't start with sunlight or silence. It starts with a message. Not a text. Not a notification. A handwritten note slid under the door. You've gone too far, but you're close. Keep going. Trust only your gut. That's all it says. No name. No explanation. Just the undeniable pressure in your chest as you hold the paper in your hands. Heart suddenly pounding like it knows something your mind hasn't caught up to yet. You look around but there's nothing. No sound. No movement. Just the eerie stillness of early morning air that feels too quiet to be real. For a second your brain tries to rationalize. Maybe someone's playing a prank. Maybe it was meant for someone else. But deep down you know better. Nothing about this week has been accidental. Not the timing, not the results, and definitely not this note. Whatever's happening, it's not just inside your body anymore. It's around you. As you move through your routine that morning, hydration, sunlight, movement, you can't shake the feeling that something's watching. It's not paranoia. It's instinct. And that gut feeling, it's louder than ever. That's when you remember something from day 3. A moment that seemed unimportant at the time. When you opened your health tracker app and saw it flash sync error, even though everything was fine. You shrugged it off then. But now, doesn't feel random. You dig deeper, opening your camera roll, scrolling back through your sleep graphs and heart rate charts. That's when you notice it. A tiny timestamp that doesn't belong. A 2-minute window right before sunrise on day 4, where your metrics drop to 0. No heart rate. No breath count. Nothing. As if, for those 2 minutes, you weren't there. You're not the only one noticing glitches. Across the country, creators who joined the challenge are suddenly going dark. Not offline silent. Their profiles still show up. Their videos still play. But they've stopped posting. No new updates. No responses in the comments. Some of their last messages are cryptic. One person says, "I can't unsee what's behind the detox." Another writes, "If I disappear, don't stop. You're waking up." One woman who had been leading a massive 7-day reset group live streams a tearful message saying, "It's not just what we're taking out of our bodies. It's what we're clearing space for. And I'm scared of what that might be." Then she goes offline. Her last story has no sound. Just a shot of her kitchen, sunlight flooding in through the window, and a shadow standing completely still on the other side of the glass. Meanwhile, the startup in California, where this entire movement started, is under lockdown. Not officially. But no one's answering emails. The office is dark. Their social media accounts haven't updated in over 48 hours. And yet, strangely, the website is still live. Auto-publishing blog posts, releasing video snippets, posting user testimonials from people who haven't spoken in days. It's as if the system is running without its creators. A YouTube creator who goes by Daily Reset Tracker posts a full breakdown video titled, "This 7-day challenge just got weird." And within hours, it racks up over 1.4 million views. He lays out a timeline showing exactly when the algorithm started promoting the challenge under tags like natural detox, dopamine fasting, parasite cleanse, and circadian reset. But then he points to a shift, right around day 4, where those tags started changing. Sleep hacking, lucid protocol, frequency biosync. The data shows a sudden spike in engagement but a drop in user uploads. As if more people were watching but fewer people were speaking. You try to ignore the tension growing in your chest, brushing it off as detox symptoms. Headaches, vivid dreams, emotional waves. But that explanation starts to feel thinner by the hour. Something is happening that no meal plan or hydration tip can explain. And as day 6 ticks forward, you begin to question whether this was ever just about wellness. That night you decide to break the routine. Just for a moment, you turn your phone back on early. No silent morning. No slow breath work. You need answers. But the second your screen lights up, you regret it. All your apps reset. Health data wiped. Sleep logs erased. Your home screen now shows a single pinned link. "Welcome to the frequency." Against your better judgment you click it. The video is only 23 seconds. No sound. Just a series of faces. People you've seen on your feed, all staring directly into the camera with glassy eyes and barely their smiles. They don't blink. They don't move. But at the end, just for a second, the screen flashes something you can't unsee. It's not a word. It's not an image. It's a pulse. A flicker that feels like it moved through you instead of past you. You shut off the phone. The silence after feels deafening. Meanwhile, miles away, the neurobiologist who started this challenge sits in a dark room surrounded by printed sleep graphs and brainwave charts. Her hands are shaking. She's been tracking these changes, correlating emotional shifts with light exposure, microbiome changes, and dopamine regulation. But now she sees something different. A pattern forming across every user's data. Not just mood or rest. A rhythmic cycle repeating every 24 hours with uncanny precision. It's as if everyone tapped into the same frequency, literally syncing like machines on a shared code. And the real twist. It's not new. The pattern matches a sequence she found during her time at a private research lab in 2017, one that was shut down after a failed experiment in non-invasive neural entrainment. The theory was simple. If you control the first waking hour of someone's day consistently, you can override their baseline stress, fear, and decision-making pathways. But it was shut down after subjects reported unexplained hallucinations and identity disruption. The worst part. The project name was also 7-Day Reset. She starts to panic. If this is the same program, or worse, a refined version being tested without consent, then the implications are staggering. What seems like a harmless wellness challenge could be a behavioral conditioning trial disguised as self-care. She tries to alert the public, but her emails bounce. Her videos are auto-flagged for violating community guidelines. When she tries to go live, her camera won't turn on. Every device in her apartment begins resetting. At 2:03 a.m., her smart lights flicker. Then, her screen flashes the same flickering pulse seen in the video. She screams. Back on your end, the changes are undeniable. Your digestion has reset. Your cravings are gone. Your sleep is deep, dreamless. Your body feels lighter. But your mind, it's no longer sure who's in control. You walk into your living room and notice your reflection in the window, except you're not moving, but the reflection is. For a moment you stare, frozen, unable to speak. Then the reflection smiles. Outside, the world continues spinning, but those who joined the challenge aren't living in the same reality anymore. They're synced, subtly pulled into a rhythm that no longer belongs to them. Some are fine. Some feel euphoric. Some begin to forget details. Birthdays, faces, even their own names. One man posts a video of himself reciting the reset routine, only to forget mid-sentence why he started filming. He laughs, then stares blankly at the camera. Then the screen goes black. Day 7 is coming. But no one knows what's waiting on the other side. Day 7 begins without warning, like a blackout lifting. No alarms. No sunlight streaming in. Just a sharp inhale, the kind your body makes when it forgets how long it's been holding its breath. You sit upright not because you're rested but because something feels final. All week you've been playing by the rules, moving with the current of routines. Hydrate, stretch, breathe, unplug. But today the routine doesn't feel like yours. It feels like a script you've been memorizing, and suddenly the words feel foreign. There's a thrum in your chest, almost like your heartbeat is syncing to something outside of you. You open your eyes and everything looks normal, but nothing feels normal. The silence in your home is too quiet, like it's waiting for something to happen. You glance at your phone, but it's blank. Not dead, blank. Like it's been wiped clean. Far across the country, the neurobiologist, barely sleeping for the past 2 nights, has finally hacked into the back end of the app that was quietly syncing biometric data for thousands of users. What she finds chills her. Over 90% of participants showed altered brainwave rhythms by day 5, consistent with a mild trance state typically induced through light and audio entrainment. The digital protocols disguised as wellness habits were delivering more than just lifestyle improvements. They were stimulating deep nervous system entrainment through circadian disruption and audio exposure embedded in those calming nature frequency playlists everyone was streaming without question. Every reset soundtrack, every silent wake morning video contained inaudible ultrasonic pulses that, when combined with certain hydration and fasting states, bypassed cortical resistance. In plain terms, the 7-day detox wasn't just a health trend, it was a controlled cognitive override. As she pulls deeper into the data, she notices a subset of users who resisted the sync. Their patterns diverged from the majority. These were the ones who broke the rules, those who skipped a day, looked directly into unnatural light at sunrise, or ignored the fasting window. And they all had something else in common: a specific DNA marker tied to heightened interoception, the brain's sensitivity to internal body signals. In short, they could feel when something was off even before it made logical sense. They were the outliers, the anomalies, the ones who couldn't be fully synced. And you're one of them. Back in your apartment, a strange sensation climbs up the base of your skull. You close your eyes and feel your body locking into a rhythm again, like it's being pulled by an invisible tide. But this time you resist. You slow your breath, not the way the guide videos taught, but the way your body used to breathe when it was afraid. Deep, primal, slow. Flash of memory hits you. Therefore, that reflection in the window. It didn't mimic you. Moved first. That wasn't a glitch. That was a warning. Meanwhile, social feeds across the US are flooded with trending topics. What really happened on day 7? 7-day reset reel or brain hack? And parasite cleanse side effects no one talks about. But something is off. Every video under these titles has comments disabled. Even the likes and dislikes are gone. Major influencers are posting perfect videos that feel lifeless. Their voices calm but void of emotion. One by one, creators who had risen to fame through the detox challenge are now eerily silent in live streams, staring too long between sentences, blinking out of rhythm. The phrase circadian entrapment trends briefly, then disappears from search entirely. You decide to break pattern completely. No supplements, no hydration timer. You step outside barefoot into the dirt, forcing your body to ground itself in something raw, real. The moment your skin touches the earth, there's a spike in awareness, almost like your body is remembering what it's supposed to feel like. Your heart pounds in your ears, not with fear, but with something ancient. Not everything in this reset was a lie. Some of it did help. The fasting cleared the fog. The silence restored focus. But buried inside those truths was a hidden protocol, one that tried to overwrite your instincts with precision. Then the unexpected happens. Across the world at that same hour, 7:07 a.m., those who didn't fully sync begin to dream wide awake. They see the same symbols, the same pulse, the same haunting moment where their own reflection stares back and says, "Do you remember who you were before they told you who to be?" The data trails show a ripple, a neurological reset, not manufactured but born out of resistance. Those who felt their way through instead of blindly following have begun to reverse the pattern, not by rejecting the protocol, but by reclaiming it. Your gut wasn't lying. Never was. Suddenly your phone reactivates. One new message. No sender. Just 3 words. You pass through. You stare, confused, until the second message comes. There are others. It begins now. A link appears. You hesitate, then click. You're taken to a live stream. Dozens of faces appear. Some you recognize from videos, others you've never seen, all wide awake. They're not synced. They're not selling anything. They're just talking. Ever forget one speaks. They tried to use truth to deliver control. But truth has a pulse of its own. Can't be hijacked. And if you're here, you already felt it. Welcome to the new beginning. They begin sharing tips, not products. They speak of how to listen to the body when no algorithm is whispering in your ear. How to trust discomfort, to navigate dopamine detox without breaking the spirit, to differentiate between real gut healing and trendy parasite cleanses that prey on desperation. It's the first time in days you feel completely human again. The neurobiologist finally publishes her findings, through encrypted means, via independent digital journalists. Her work spreads fast, exposing the buried blueprint of the reset, how the routines worked, why they were so effective, and what side effects no one ever consented to. Overnight, people begin reclaiming their own protocols, not from influencers but from the body itself. They take what worked, sunlight, stillness, hydration, and throw out the mind games. The detox becomes what it should have been all along, a return to sovereignty. A reunion with instinct. A revolution of rhythm. And yet, the final twist lingers. Weeks later you walk past a bus stop and see a new ad. Clean font. Peaceful colors. Introducing the 14-day alignment. Sink deeper. Sleep forever. You stop in your tracks. Your stomach knots. The faces in the poster are familiar. Too familiar. The message is clear. They're trying again. Martyr. Tufter. But you're not the same. You've passed through. And now you're one of the few who sees the pattern for what it is. As you walk away, you feel your pulse. Not sinking but beating in time with something stronger. Your own truth. And you know deep down. The real reset doesn't come from a protocol. Comes when you remember who you are, even when the whole world tries to tell you otherwise. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories of inner strength and resilience. Until next time, stay strong, stay brave, and your worth.